What's up, guys? Jordan from Bennett's Customs. We're back on another episode trying to fit this 36 Plymouth Dash into my Roadster, and it is gonna need a lot of work. This is kind of like the essence of hot rodding. From early into the late 30s, early 40s, guys were modifying and creating these cars into their personality, their originality. And you're gonna watch me scratch my head because there was a lot of it. Holy sh**. We are going to be covering lots of shaping, welding, blending techniques, and everything in between in order to get this to fit into the car and make it look like it's not an aftermarket piece. I love the centralized gauge panel, the double glove box doors, and the whole idea is to try and create this that's removable and I'm still able to utilize the factory Model A fuel tank. So let's get straight into the video. Okay, so I didn't want to ruin the patina on it too much, but having said that, it is a really tall dash. And yesterday, Ben and I were measuring his Roadster dash that we made for him, the kind of 32 style one. And we're both big guys. So I'm 6'6", and I'm gonna try and cram myself in this car. So these right here, these are probably not ideal for my knees, unfortunately. This little curve matches the curve of the dash really well like that once it's in there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I also want to have a little bit of angle to it. I don't want it to be dead straight like this, but I want to still be able to utilize the gas tank, as I mentioned before. I don't want to cut or modify this in any way because I want to run that dicky seat or the rumble seat in the back. So we want to have as much footroom as possible. The reason why I like this piece so much is because it locks in. This has a beautiful border that outlines all the way around, right down to the bottom here. So if I can modify or create a piece that goes in and lands right on the inside of that bead, or maybe something that kind of comes up into it, because I really like the look of that bead and how it nearly matches the contour of the top of this dash. So unfortunately, what I think I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut right along here, and I'm gonna try and do it maybe just under this, and then we can sort of save that if I wanna implement that back in for some sort of accessory light, or I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna use it for. I don't wanna cut it up too much because I really like the patina, but we've done that with the door. We can always re-patina it in the real way and oil it and have it all looking like it was never touched. So that is what we're gonna try and create right now. I reckon something like that. So we're at least 2 inches above where we wanna be. I think. 445. So I'm just using these as a kind of a hold, an extra set of hands really. And what I want to do is I'm going to try and this is where I want the dash to sit. So that's like the perfect spot. Angles, everything. Oh, just, yeah, looks great there. But problem is, there we are on the other side. If Ben films it, you'll see it's got at least 3 inches plus from the actual header up. So what we should really do is just fill from there to there. Job done. You'll just have a big wind deflector. I could take this off and it'd just be like a big one. So this is the whole area that we need to remove somehow without making it look weird. Kind of scratching my head about is exactly where to cut it and how to cut it. And I only I want to cut it once. I don't want to have to cut it a billion times. I have no strategic plan here. I'm just sort of going for it. So we have a tape line laid out where I'm going to cut it. And Ben did make a really good point. He thought if we were to cut just on the inside of, say 10 mil in from this really nice body line, could we not just take a massive section out of here and bring this down? And I really liked the idea, but I don't think we have enough material in here in order to do so. But yeah, see, I keep kind of second guessing myself, thinking it possibly could work. We'd need this whole piece to come down to about where we have it cut. Yeah, you guys are probably screaming at the TV thinking, why wouldn't you cut it like this? But all right, so you can see I cut it not in the place that I planned on cutting it. I cut it, I'm going with Ben's theory on this one. I really think we could make it work. This top of the header, I keep trying to put it into there, and it would be amazing, but again, this was the original part that, I got this close. I didn't like how it dropped out and sort of ended, and then we have this sort of weird area there. I mean, you could totally live with it, but it doesn't look proportioned. So either we'd bring it up so that edge would come right up into there like that. But then I was thinking, I don't necessarily need it to come into this. We could actually just cut this part, match the same line on here, and we could just weld this material to this material so that off this edge where it hooks into, it would just flow straight off here, right into the dash. And then this would be our body line, this really neat little body line that's on there. So I'm actually thinking like that's gonna be the best way to do it. Whether or not we're gonna be able to save the top of this patina, it doesn't really bother me if not. We can always just do it ourselves. But I like the idea of kind of cutting it in there so that it kind of pulls it in a bit too. It takes out the bulkiness out of it. Rather than trying to reinvent the wheel and create a whole new piece, although I'm not gonna get too ahead of myself because that's potentially what might happen. Quite, I don't know. So we have our curved piece. That would be so incredibly amazing if we could make that work. All right, so we're gonna try and attempt to keep this piece because I really like it. And what I'm gonna try and do is actually try and get this set up something like this. So then I could weld this up and then we could start to hit this lip over and fold it so that this lip isn't there anymore. And then we could potentially, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out a nice transition. So if I had that folded over, I could match the lip right through so that this contour comes right in like that. And then we could actually put a piece right in here and weld it in. So it's a matter of trying to now fill this void. Yeah. Now we're really coming up with something. Homemade T-dolly that we used when we were repairing the 1932 grill of Sheldon's. But this area where it's curved is where it's going to start to bend in. So this actually needs to roll right over. So if you can imagine, that's going to be welded right across there, so that will be gone, and then it'll kind of hit this bump. Well, that bump's just going to sort of fade out in this corner, and now we have a nice roll section here where we can kind of blend it into it, and then all we need to do is make a piece that's similar to this, but into that, and we can lay it in there, scribe it, and weld it in. So now I feel like I got the mojo. It kind of clicked. You know, hopefully we're not celebrating too soon, but it's gonna be steep and then it's gonna kind of fade out to nothing. So it's gonna be a little bit difficult, but you know, we'll just kind of take it in strides, figure out how exactly we're gonna do it. But I think this is really gonna work. I really wanna keep the sanding to a minimum on this dash to obviously preserve the majority of that patina. So even this top section, you know, we're gonna see how far we can get with it, but I would love to keep a lot of this color. And the color reason being, like especially this color here, this looks like a tortoise, like your sunglasses that you guys might wear, you know, like Otis, which is a WA brand that we work quite closely with. They have these amazing sunnies that have this very nice tortoise kind of color through it. And I want to implement a bit of that into this car. So I have a couple of cool ideas potentially with the ashtrays or the glove boxes that I want to implement those colors. So those colors then relate to these colors and it sort of ties it all in. So that's going to be a whole nother one, but you know how I always explain, I'm always thinking about the next step. So that's kind of how I work. So that's probably why sometimes I operate slow, where I kind of have this like overanalyze it, but I'm trying to overanalyze it in order to know that the part that I want to create is going to reflect this part or vice versa. So if that makes sense.
Oh, it got me in my back. All right, so we have one side pretty close to being kind of where I want it. We've welded it right up to here. I'm probably gonna cut this, unfortunately. I may not. I'm gonna see how I go with trying to make this other side and scribe it and cut it without doing it, but it's gonna be really hard having this piece sort of involved. But everything else welded really, really clean. The metal, I almost I swear it was stainless for a minute, just the way that it was welding and how clean it was. But in this corner, you saw I just filled it. It wasn't crucial enough to have to make a piece. And, you know, I probably could have prepped it a bit better when I made this piece that we put in there, that insert, and kind of made it. But, you know, I just added a little bit of filler rod. And what I do is I add filler rod and then I kind of I blend it out. So rather than doing a big buildup that you got to get in there and grind, I've kind of feathered it out to the edges. So it doesn't really need a whole lot of actual sanding in order to kind of blend it right in, and it has the shape that I'm after. So, you know, it's kind of funny, this whole dash now similarly kind of looks like a Ford dash, like a 30, 35, 36 dash maybe. Just sort of resembles parts of it to me. But so we still got a lot to do. Looking at it now, yeah, lots of warping, I've just noticed, which is interesting. So we'll be tweaking everything a lot so that it fits properly. Holy shit. That is so warped. Kind of, you know, I guess that was going to happen doing those two big passes right beside each other. I should have probably tacked and cooled and did little bits all the way around, but I'm so used to just welding up from one end to the other so that I can get in there and hammer and dolly it out. But there's not a lot I'm going to be able to hammer and dolly out. But you can see the contour or plane of this, where that door's going to sit, and that side is, yeah, that side's pretty cockatoos. But that's all right. We'll get that back. A little bit of manipulation and frustration. I reckon it's actually pulled it in even more too, which has made it probably steeper than what we're going to use. Oh man. All right, let's sand this and then we can worry about that after. what I want to do is I want to put half of it together and then go and hold it up into the car and see what it's going to look like. So these are the panels. This is the really nice looking glove box door that still has the old factory paint on it. But I'm just going to stick this guy in, pop these guys in. These are the double ashtrays, which is quite neat. So that will be utilized as well. And then for the very, very nice piece that's nervously scary to hold is our actual gauge cluster. And this has the domed glass, so that's what makes it so terrifying to actually use. So we'll get this guy up and around. All right, so let's flip it over. Have a gander. Oh. And then, you know, we're gonna have like some warning lights of some sort, some nice glass jewel ones. And, you know, if I need to put any other gauges in, which I may put like an extra set of temp and oil pressure gauge, I will probably stick them in the glove box on this side. And then just have that so it flips down. So this will be the glove box side because I'm making it right-hand drive. And then this side will obviously just be the filler panel. So let's actually go and stick it in and see what it's going to look like. If I were to pull this guy out, and this was our glove box, we still have quite a bit of room, you know, for 1, 2 beers maybe, or maybe 1, 2, 3 beers that way, which would be cool. And I don't smoke, so we can use the ashtrays for something, but I think that'll be really good. So it's crazy how much we actually took out of it and lifted this up, considering where it was. Really, really good. So all we need to do now, and even just like looking at it through the window, as long as we can savor that lip, which I plan on doing, we're just gonna run this guy right along that edge, and then I'll be able to weld it from the backside. So it'll just be a super clean transition from here into that lip. So that lip will end up staying. We still have a lot to do on the dash itself. We still have to create this piece, weld all that in, blend it all, still need to make the top bit, and then obviously our sides and our mounts, and then we'll be able to kind of click it in and click it out. When I'm doing that, I will sort of transfer over the wire. It is broken, so I'm gonna have to make a new one in order to make a functional glove box, and then we will do something with our ashtrays and that. But the best thing is about this whole thing is that our wiring system is gonna be going right down here. So when you look under there, you're not going to see anything, which is amazing. So, and another massive bonus is we're still utilizing the factory fuel tank. Nothing's hindering it. We still have ample amount of space behind there, which is really, really good. But I'm super pleased with it. I think it's just, yeah, I'm stoked. I really, really like this dash. And that was a lot of work, to be honest. It didn't maybe seem like it, but to figure it out and how complex those curves were and which way to section it and which way to shorten it. And, you know, kind of kudos to Ben. Luckily, we mentioned to take this top piece off, because if I had cut where I did, I don't think we would have been anywhere near, you know, where we are now, or otherwise we would have had to create a whole new piece that may not have looked as good as this piece. So yeah, massive bonus, super stoked. Cannot wait to finish this off. And then, you know, continue working on this car. There's going to be a lot of neat stuff I want to do to it in the near future. So, yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video of trying to put in a full custom dash into the Roadster. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And again, if anyone can recognize that luggage rack, please let me know. I'd love to know what it's from. And that'll be pretty cool in another video to make that all be working. So anyways, enjoy, like, subscribe, hit notifications, and we will see you next week on Bennett's Customs.